if you can hold on to that central concept, that idea, that initial thing that led you in this direction, and let go of everything else. That's the balance that's happening, or that you're being called to try and strike here. Hi Pisces, Bailey B, hanging out for another intuitive reading to help you explore your subconscious and see what's going on. Thank you for being here. I intend for this reading to give you something fascinating to think about, and I hope you can use that information to lead you to more safety and more fulfillment. I want you to check in with your own intuition to see what feels true and only pick up what's resonating with you. Today I decided to do a Kim Krans day. So we've got the Kim Krans Spirit Animal deck and the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. Very excited about it. Press the like button if you love Kim Krans as much as I do. She's an amazing illustrator. And don't forget to press the subscribe button if you're enjoying my channel and you want to enter to win a free reading from me. All right, Pisces. So what do we got for Pisces in spirit animal form? The black egg and the mouse energy. Wow, very different energies, but almost like similar. I don't know. Something similar about the vibes of these cards. I always want to know what y'all are thinking too out there. If you guys have any like fun observations about how the cards relate to each other, or the energies that you get from the cards. I love to hear that kind of stuff from other people. Let's get out the book and see what Kim Krans has to say about these. Oops. All right, so the black egg. Speaking from an authentic voice, the truth. The black egg contains one of life's essential treasures, the truth. Inside of it resides no confusion, excuses, small talk, noise, or lies, not even white ones. This living and breathing vessel harbors only that which rings true. When this essence is in balance, we speak slowly and clearly. When we are drawn to activities like writing, reading, teaching, singing, or perhaps public speaking, sound draws us in, books draw us in, the concept of truth itself draws us in. We start asking questions like, what do I know to be true about myself? And what is true about the world? When the energy of the black egg is not yet accessed, we speak from an unsure place. We say things others want to hear, gossip, or repeat stories to justify our subpar behavior. We might even try to convince ourselves that we have no inner truth at all. The energy of the black egg hovers and waits for us to reconnect. It is available at every moment, in every situation. It's the epicenter of the truth, the birthplace of your voice. Wow, so that is the other illustration there. So the center of truth, just truth itself, searching for it. All right, and then we have the energy of the mouse hanging out here. The mouse is detail-oriented, small-minded, nitpicky, and nervous. The mouse has an innate desire to tend to the details. It often spends its days fixing, preparing, organizing, and scrutinizing. Unfortunately, a mouse personality doesn't notice when they've gone too far. Soon they begin to have a limited and fearful vision of life and try to control every detail. This can be quite a painful experience for both the mouse and those around them. When mouse energy is at play, step back for a moment. It may be time to find a more purposeful project to delve into, one that's worthy of your exacting eye. So the energy here couldn't be more opposite. Well, not more opposite, but it's like as they play off of each other here, it's almost asking you to find the truth and let go of the extraneous details. It's a very difficult thing to decipher, is what is necessary, what is true, and what is an extra noise, and what is false. So this extra noise, this fearful vision of life, trying to control everything, is really, I guess, in terms of energy, can be juxtaposed against this black egg, in that when you don't trust that something is true, you tend to worry about it, right? You tend to try and control all of the elements of that thing in order to be able to know what is true about the situation. So maybe this is about the known and the unknown versus two different energies, and how we deal with the tension between those two things. So very interesting animal spirit energy out here. Ooh, 10 of Pentacles on the back of the deck. The Magician on the split. Love that. Whew. All right, so what I'm going to do is the Heart of a Celtic Cross. We're going to do the heart of the matter and what is crossing that matter. So let's start with the heart of the matter here. What is the heart of the matter we're talking about? The moon energy. Okay, so unknown again. Knowing things that others can't see, going to darker places that typically we don't go, wandering out into a place of unknown territory. So this could be why you're feeling such different energies here. The black egg could be a truth that you know that you need to do, execute, go towards. And then the mouse energy here is kind of telling you, because it's an unknown, let's figure out what all the details are. Let's try and control all of the small things and become so obsessed with the things that are going on that we actually miss the forest for the trees. We can't see the bigger picture, right? We end up basically overloading our brains with all of these small details that don't matter, instead of letting go of those things that aren't really going to affect the final outcome in a positive way, at least. And we kind of embrace the not knowing that part, if that makes sense. All right, so what is crossing this moon energy for Pisces? Ooh, the Seven of Cups again. We got this yesterday or last reading as well. Seven of Cups is confusion. Things look down when they're up or up when they're down. Because that looks right side up, right? But that is not right side up for this card. This is right side up. So things are feeling a little bit, topsy-turvy maybe. There is this crescent moon symbol again. This could also have to do with the time between the eclipses. We just had a lunar eclipse and we had a solar eclipse, I don't know, a year and a half ago. So this could have been a time for you of really not knowing which way is up and which way is down. And if we're doing it as what's crossing, it's on its side. Maybe you felt stuck in between something for a long time. And you have this inner knowing that it's coming towards you, and you need to put energy into it, but you're not exactly sure what the details are. You're not sure where you're headed, what your role in it is exactly. There's a lot left here to the imagination to kind of go wild, especially when this is something that is important to you, that you want to be successful at. So of course you're kind of going crazy in your mind with what are all the details, trying to control all of this, because it's feeling like you're not sure really even what the next step is going to be. But you do have a truth within your heart that knows this is the direction you're supposed to go in, but what does that look like exactly? You're not sure. So let's go around the center here. We'll start with the past, then we'll move to what is in the root of it, and then what is in your headspace. Finally, we will pick a card for the outcome. So again, let's start with what we've been dealing with in the recent past. What has Pisces been dealing with? The Daughter of Wands. Interesting. So this is the Page of Wands. This could be you headed, again, like I said, on this new adventure. You're very tuned into your own needs and wants and like your internal guidance system right now. The Daughter of Wands is very sensitive to her surroundings, and this is a creative, fiery card, but also one that is very aware of where they are in their timeline and on their journey. So you have been initiated already into this journey, onto this path. And I think what's being asked of you is to kind of grow into this space, this journey. I mean, if you think about like The Hobbit, if you're also a fantasy nerd like me, when they started out, Bilbo was very sensitive, right, to his surroundings, very energetic and almost naive about the journey that was ahead of them, and then he transformed over time, became more and more capable of taking on different situations. But really, I mean, he was capable the whole time, because every situation that came to him, he dealt with in the moment and then was able to move past it. And that's exactly how we're being called to behave right now. It's like, yes, we're on this adventure. We don't know what the future looks like. We don't know what this step is going to look like. But you know within yourself that you're completely equipped already to deal with it, because you know the outcome already. You're going to end up achieving what it is that you set out to achieve. And obviously, Bilbo did not know that in The Hobbit, but we as the reader know that. And that's kind of what tarot is about. It's like you're zooming out to look at your story as a whole, and you know that your story arc ends in, you know, this success, this hero's journey where you are leveling up, you're learning lessons, but we don't know what each phase will look like exactly. And that's when we get into this mouse energy where we're like, oh, we've got to know all the details and control all the little things. Again, going back to The Hobbit, just like when Bilbo says he forgot his hanky, and they're all like, really, we're not going back for your hanky. But he genuinely was like, oh my God, we can't leave without this tiny little thing, this hanky that I must have on the journey. And then, you know, as time goes on, he sees how ridiculous that impulse really, or not ridiculous, but just like how silly that impulse was, considering the bigger picture. But he didn't know the bigger picture back then. Point being, you're going to look back at all these little details that you're trying to control and realize that they didn't affect the outcome that like you thought they would. And all that worrying was kind of for nothing. All right, so you've said on this grand adventure, Pisces. What is the root of the matter for Pisces here? Ooh, 2 cards. The Emperor, we also had this card last reading, and the 8 of Pentacles. Both of these cards came out last reading. So this is you mastering your craft. This is you leveling up to a new position. Maybe you're getting a promotion, something that is helping you become a better version of the thing that you've already been working on. This also could be you mentoring someone else or having sort of a responsibility outside of your purview or your normal purview that has you working, you know, a little bit extra to achieve this base here for you and whoever this other energy I'm feeling is. So that's what's in the root of the matter. The Emperor, the 8 of Pentacles, something very structured, something that has to do with masculine output energy, like you're really rooting down into your productivity, getting things done, being more organized. And again, I hear this mouse energy coming out that we were talking about before. But there's definitely a way to balance those two things. You can do all of the prep work in order to be proficient and avoid pitfalls, right? But there's no amount of prepping that we can do to avoid all the things that are going to come up. So really the point here is if you can root in this Emperor energy, that you know what you're doing, you've done it time and time again, you have all the skills that it takes to execute your work, then you can kind of let go of all the details on this worrying about, you know, all the little things that keep us in that anxiety energy. I feel like you're finally getting a sense of you're so good at what you do that you're able to let go. And that is kind of like a flow state, right? Where you're proficient enough to where you can kind of not think about it. So I feel like this is what you're rooting down into, and where your energy, like why all of this is happening. All right, next let's look at your headspace. Where is your head right now, Pisces? What's going on up there? Five of Wands. So, confusion, energy going a lot of different directions. Again, this mouse energy of nitpicking the details, looking at all the things that really aren't the main focus. If all of these wands here were facing the same direction, the momentum would be a lot more. Things would go more smoothly, more quickly. But as you can see, as the lines are like protruding out here with this illustration by Kim Krans, the energy is just like there's no direction. It's going in all different places. There's still a lot of power here though, right? So it's kinetic, sort of chaotic energy. And if this is where your head is, it's not going to be very productive for you. It's not the best place for us to execute things in a way that is going to avoid unnecessary angst or confusion, unnecessary conflict, things like that. Obviously, we have to make mistakes in order to learn, and those are necessary, but I do think there's a lot of things that we go through that aren't necessary for the lesson. We just kind of make it harder for ourselves by trying to take control rather than letting go. And the letting go comes in with this black egg energy here. The black egg energy talks about inner truth. So if you can hold on to that central concept, that idea, that initial thing that led you in this direction, and let go of everything else, that's the balance that's happening, or that you're being called to try and strike here. But I do see that your headspace is very chaotic. So maybe this is a call for some meditation time, writing down what your priorities are, maybe focusing on top 3 things and letting other things go, asking for support and help, maybe even saying no to some stuff, so that you can really embrace this Emperor energy. But let's see what the future has for us here, because I feel like things are changing. You wouldn't have such a hardcore belief in this adventure you're on if you didn't have an outcome that was going to be important for you. So what is the future looking like with Pisces here? The Father of Wands, the King of Wands, and the Eight of Wands. Dude, okay, so the Eight of Wands in the traditional deck is the one that is all of the straight lines. We also had this in the last reading. If you haven't seen the reading that I put out day before yesterday, go back and watch it. It's a lot of these energies came out, and the reading was a little less focused on the adventure, is a little more work focused. So if you're interested in that, go back. This to me is exactly what I was looking for. It's you getting your shit together. You're lining your ducks up in a row. Your wands are now parallel. They're flying through the air as the traditional card looks like. This card obviously is more of a point, a truth, a lightning strike of inspiration that comes on all of a sudden. And I love that in both of these cards we have this lightning motif. So this is you possibly having a sudden realization of your power, a sudden bolt of energy in terms of conviction, like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I want to be doing. Why am I focusing on all this other stuff? The King of Wands is the protector of creative energy, a very fierce protector of creative energy. And that can mean really defining things. I was going to say drawing boundaries, but just by the nature of drawing boundaries, you are defining something. So if you're defining what it is that you're trying to achieve, the very core of what it is that you're trying to achieve, then you are drawing boundaries and saying, this is what I will focus on, and then anything outside of that is something that I won't focus on, which I think is where we can draw our power from, and where we can go from this Five of Wands confused energy in all different directions to this energy of lining things up, synchronicities happening, protecting that seed of inspiration, and letting the creativity kind of grow and blossom in that unknown space because we have defined a space for it. And that is how it is protected and then able to thrive. So a lot of wand energy out here for this reading. This is about your creative ideas, your inspiration, and protecting those ideas. Defining them, getting those things in order in your head so that you know exactly what is important and what is superfluous. And you can focus on the things that are really meaningful and really hone in this King of Wands energy. So this is an amazing reading, Pisces. I hope this helped you understand a little bit about what you're going through, helped you focus a little bit more, gave you some faith to keep moving forward. I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are in the world, Pisces. And as always, I hope you live long and prosper.